a stadium made entirely from shipping containers, built to be taken apart and moved anywhere in the world, and another where steam trains pass right behind the goal during live matches. These aren't futuristic concepts, they're real stadiums. From cliffside pitches to floating arenas, we're diving into 15 of the strangest and most unbelievable sports venues ever built, places that prove stadium design can be as wild as human imagination. Stadium 974, Qatar. Stadium 974 in Qatar is built from 974 recycled shipping containers, the exact number matching Qatar's international dialing code. This is the first fully demountable stadium in FIFA World Cup history. Containers were used to transport materials to the construction site, then became concession stands, VIP areas, and even changing rooms. The modular design took just 3 years to build, far less than traditional stadiums. Located on Doha's waterfront, the stadium relies on natural sea breezes instead of air conditioning, reducing water usage by 40%. After the 2022 World Cup, plans called for dismantling the entire structure and shipping it to Uruguay for the 2030 tournament. However, as of 2025, it's still standing in Qatar and hosting matches. The multicolored containers create a striking patchwork exterior that looks like giant Lego blocks. Stadion TJ Tatran Cierny Balog, Slovakia. An active railway track runs straight through this Slovakian football stadium, right between the pitch and the main stand. During matches, vintage steam trains from the early 1900s roar past, drowning out the crowd and shaking the ground beneath the players. Instead of complaining, fans cheer and wave as the locomotives whistle by. The line, part of the historic Cierny Railway, still operates today, passing through even during live games. Referees rarely stop play. Everyone simply waits for the smoke to clear. It's the only stadium on Earth where football and steam trains share the same space, turning every match into a surreal mix of sport and history. Tsentralnyi Stadion, Yekaterinburg, Russia. For the 2018 World Cup, Russian architects faced an impossible problem, fitting 35,000 people inside historic walls that could barely hold 23,000. Their solution was insane. They built temporary stands that stick straight out from both ends of the stadium like enormous drawers pulled from a cabinet. These tubular steel sections extend nearly 140 feet into the sky, completely outside the main structure. Fans sitting in these seats are literally exposed to the elements with zero protection. The stadium's exterior walls are protected as Russian architectural heritage, so demolishing them wasn't an option. After the World Cup, officials plan to dismantle these bizarre additions and distribute the 12,000 seats across 8 municipalities. The design sparked global debate about whether it was genius or madness. 4 World Cup matches were played here, including Brazil versus South Korea. Those external seats provided the most unique viewing angle in tournament history. The Big O, Montreal, Canada. Montreal's Olympic Stadium is nicknamed the Big O because it took 30 years to pay off. Built for the 1976 Olympics, it opened without its signature tower or retractable roof, both unfinished. The 165-meter inclined tower is the world's tallest leaning structure, designed to hold cables for the roof. But nothing went as planned. The Kevlar roof wasn't installed until 1987, 11 years late. When finally operational, it could only function in winds under 40 kilometers per hour. It opened and closed just 88 times before being declared unusable. The roof constantly ripped, leaked during rainstorms, and cost $700,000 annually in maintenance. In 1986, a chunk of the tower fell onto the playing field before a game. 5 years later, 55 tons of concrete crashed down and forcing the team to play away for the rest of the season. The stadium's construction budget exploded from $134 million to $1.1 billion. Quebec added a tobacco tax to fund it, which lasted 3 decades. Today, the stadium needs an $870 million new roof, proof that the Big O has never stopped living up to its name. Timsah Arena, Turkey. Timsah Arena in Bursa, Turkey, is shaped like a massive green crocodile, and the architects went all in. Fans enter through the crocodile's open mouth, walking between jaws that stretch 140 feet high. When night falls, the reptiles' eyes and teeth light up, creating a terrifying spectacle visible across the city. The exterior features detailed scales and anatomical features to make it look like you're being swallowed alive. With capacity for 43,000 fans, this isn't some small novelty stadium. It's a full-scale professional venue. Timsah means crocodile in Turkish, and the architects made sure nobody would miss the reference. Visiting teams describe it as one of the most intimidating atmospheres in football. It's selected as a potential venue for Euro 2032, meaning Europe's best will play inside a giant crocodile. This is architectural theater at its most absurd and brilliant. La Bombonera, Buenos Aires, Argentina. La Bombonera's stands are so steep they make your stomach drop. The seating rises almost vertically, packing nearly 49,000 fans right on top of the pitch. Its D-shaped design, 3 towering walls, and 1 flat side was built to trap sound and energy. When Boca Juniors fans jump in rhythm, the entire stadium moves. Locals say La Bombonera doesn't shake, it beats. And engineers confirm it's true. The vibrations run through the concrete during big matches. British reporters once called it the most intense sporting experience in the world. The noise is deafening, the passion overwhelming. This is where Maradona and Riquelme became legends, inside a stadium that feels alive. It's not modern, it's not pretty, but it might just be the most powerful football atmosphere on earth. Henningsvær Stadion, Norway. This football pitch sits on a rocky island in the Arctic Ocean, surrounded by dramatic cliffs and freezing water. Henningsvær Stadion in the Lofoten Islands has no stands or formal seating, just 1,000 people watching from rocky outcrops. The pitch was built on one of the few flat areas available in this remote archipelago. Getting there requires navigating narrow bridges between islands, especially dangerous in winter when Arctic storms batter the coast. Towering mountains loom on all sides while waves crash against the rocks below. Players deal with harsh winds, sub-freezing temperatures, and the constant roar of the Norwegian Sea. It's primarily used for amateur matches, but the setting makes every game feel epic. Social media made this stadium viral after aerial photos revealed its otherworldly beauty. Tourists travel to the Arctic Circle just to photograph this pitch. During summer, midnight sun illuminates matches at 2 a.m. In winter, it's buried under snow and completely unusable. The dramatic isolation makes it one of the most photographed football fields on Earth. Estadio Hernando Siles, Bolivia. At 3,637 meters above sea level in La Paz, this stadium is a living nightmare for visiting teams. The extreme altitude makes the air so thin that players cannot breathe properly after 20 minutes. Bolivian teams are accustomed to these oxygen levels, creating a massive home advantage. The ball moves faster through thin air, completely changing gameplay dynamics. FIFA even considered banning matches at this altitude due to health risks and unfair advantages. Built in the early 20th century, the structure itself is unremarkable, but the location is legendary. Opposing players describe it as one of the hardest places to play in world football. Many collapse from altitude sickness mid-match, while Bolivian players barely break a sweat. The 42,000 capacity stadium has witnessed countless upsets where weaker Bolivian teams defeated world-class opponents. Medical staff stay on constant alert for oxygen-deprived players. Bolivia's national team exploited this geographical weapon for decades, making La Paz a fortress. Estadio Municipal de Braga, Portugal. Carved straight from a mountain quarry, this Portuguese stadium is architecture meeting raw nature. Built into the side of Monte do Castro quarry for Euro 2004, one goal backdrop is literally a massive rock wall from the quarry face. The opposite end offers sweeping views of Braga's city sprawl. Only 2 stands were built along the sides, connected by steel cables inspired by ancient Incan rope bridges. The cables span 220 meters, holding up the roof between the stands. To move between sections, you walk through a 5,000 square meter plaza beneath the pitch itself. The project cost a staggering 200 million euros because moving all that rock was insanely expensive, way more than any other Euro 2004 stadium. Architect Eduardo Souto de Moura won the Pritzker Prize partly for this design. It's regularly listed as one of the most beautiful stadiums in world football. Nature and engineering fused into something that shouldn't exist but does. Estadio Akron, Zapopan, Mexico. This stadium is designed to look like a volcano. The exterior is covered with 70,000 square meters of grass, creating a massive green hill that rises from the Mexican landscape. The seating inside forms a red crater, mimicking volcanic rock formations. A white cloud-like roof appears to float above, supported by just 16 pillars, representing volcanic smoke. French architects Jean-Marie Massot and Daniel Pouzet spent 5 years bringing this vision to life. The grass-covered concrete shell creates a dynamic connection with the surrounding landscape. You'd never guess there's a 49,000-seat stadium inside. The volcanic inspiration makes sense, given Mexico sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire with hundreds of volcanoes. Construction started in 2004, but financial problems delayed completion until 2010. The first match featured Manchester United versus Chivas, with Chicharito scoring. It's selected to host matches during the 2026 FIFA World Cup. From above, it genuinely looks like a dormant volcano that could erupt at any moment. The float at Marina Bay, Singapore. This stadium literally floats on water. The float at Marina Bay is the world's only floating stadium, built on a massive steel platform sitting directly in the bay. With 30,000 capacity, it hosts football, concerts, and major events while floating on Singapore's harbor. Engineers designed it to hold up to 9,000 people standing on the platform itself, plus seating along the shoreline. The steel structure sits on Marina Bay with jaw-dropping views of Singapore's futuristic skyline behind it. While originally meant for Singapore's national team, it became more famous as a concert venue. In 2023, it's being fully redeveloped, but its legacy as the most unique floating venue is cemented. Playing football on water seemed impossible until Singapore made it reality. The Defense Science and Technology Agency designed it to be a testament to creative engineering. Natural bay breezes provide cooling without artificial systems. Mmabatho Stadium, South Africa. Built in 1981 during the Bophuthatswana era, Mmabatho Stadium in Mafeking is one of the strangest sports arenas ever constructed. Designed by an Israeli firm with reported Soviet input, this 59,000-seat concrete colossus ignores almost every rule of stadium design. Its angular stands twist and overlap like puzzle pieces, creating a chaotic web of ramps, staircases, and terraces that seem to point in random directions. Some seats face diagonally toward the pitch, while others tilt so far off axis that fans have to lean just to follow the game. The design is mirrored in the nearby Odi Stadium, its near twin, now decaying, making both symbols of architectural experimentation gone too far. Today, Mmabatho Stadium stands mostly empty, its brutalist geometry baking under the African sun, a relic of ambition, eccentricity, and sheer defiance of logic. Rungrado Mayday Stadium, North Korea. The world's largest stadium with a roof shaped like a parachute sits in Pyongyang. Rungrado Mayday Stadium officially claims 150,000 capacity, though actual counts suggest fewer seats exist. The massive roof design is unlike anything else, with its distinctive unfolded parachute shape visible across Pyongyang. Built to showcase North Korean power and prestige, it hosts everything from football to massive political rallies and the famous Arirang Festival mass games. The sheer scale dwarfs every other stadium on this list. However, secrecy surrounds the venue, adding to its mystique. Western visitors rarely get inside, and information about actual use is limited. The combination of bizarre architecture, massive size, and propaganda purposes makes it endlessly fascinating. It's a monument to excess and authoritarian spectacle. Whether beautiful or disturbing depends entirely on perspective, but it's definitely weird. North Korea doesn't do anything conventionally, and this stadium proves it. Olympiastadion, Munich, Germany. Munich's Olympic Stadium features a revolutionary tent-like roof made from transparent acrylic panels suspended by steel cables. Built for the 1972 Olympics, the 74,800 square meter canopy was designed to symbolize a new, democratic Germany, the opposite of the oppressive 1936 Berlin Olympics. Architect Günter Behnisch and engineer Frei Otto created a roof that mimics the nearby Alps, with peaks and valleys flowing across the structure. The transparent design represents openness and transparency in West German democracy. The tent roof appears to float above the stadium, supported by minimal pillars. At the time, this cable net structure was a revolutionary engineering feat that pushed architectural boundaries. Green seats were chosen to look natural when the stadium is empty, blending with the landscaped Olympic Park. Visitors can take roof tours, walking along the membrane hundreds of feet above ground. The structure has become one of Munich's most beloved landmarks. It proved stadiums don't need to be brutalist concrete boxes. Estadio Silvestre Carrillo, Peru. Perched on a cliffside at 4,000 meters in the Andes Mountains, this stadium is pure adrenaline. Estadio Silvestre Carrillo sits even higher than Bolivia's infamous high-altitude venue. The extreme location creates a thrilling, almost dangerous atmosphere with sweeping mountain views and sheer drops nearby. The thin air affects every aspect of gameplay. The ball flies differently, players tire instantly, and visiting teams suffer massive altitude sickness. The precarious clifftop setting adds visual drama that makes it one of the most spectacular venues anywhere. It's a small stadium serving local football, but its reputation attracts adventure-seeking fans globally. Unpredictable Andean weather means snow, wind, and harsh conditions are common. Players describe it as one of the most physically demanding places to compete. The combination of extreme altitude, difficult access, and dramatic scenery makes every match an expedition. Peru took home advantage to ridiculous heights, literally. This is football at the edge of human endurance and geographical extremes. So, those were our 15 weirdest stadiums in the world. Which one was your favorite? From floating pitches to stadiums carved into mountains, each of these proves that football can be played anywhere. If you enjoyed this journey through the world's weirdest stadiums, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating videos about football.